Good morning, YouTube. I'm still in downtown Dayton. I did a video on the horrendous condition of Wayne Avenue Street a while back, but we're on the 3rd Street Bridge, the bridge that they say separates the east side from the west side, and this is the major thoroughfare that goes all throughout from west to east or east to west, whatever direction you want to call it. I did a video on here on this bridge a while back, and this bridge is not in good shape, people. And now there was a report of some news. They're working on the highway. I showed this in another video about a month and a half, 2 months ago. So now there's some news that the city of Dayton, or the county, wants to raise people's license plate fee by 15 or 20 bucks. One of the public works people said you could see the horrendous condition of the bridge here. They said, well, if it happens, it'll create another 25% in their pockets to fix decaying and falling apart bridges like this. And it is Sunday morning. I did that purposely for this video, but this is a pretty highly traveled road Monday through Friday, and I'm assuming, and also, later in the day on the weekend, it's a pretty busy too. But see the condition of the bridge. It's falling apart. The exposed rebar right there. So, and I've already, ranted on and on and on about Miller Valentine Gem wanting to steal $5 billion from the taxpayers via form of a grant or whatever you want to call it, to develop the old fairground site. And I've said already before that if you cannot fund the project on your own, it should not exist. But it's overlooking the Great Miami River here. And so it's time that the residents, demand. Here's another hole right here. This bridge was having some major structure issues about 4 or 5 years ago. Might have had some long before that. This bridge is around 65 years old. It was built in the late 1840s, I believe. Late 1940s. But it's time the residents, here's more decay right here on the bridge. So it's time the residents actually demand that the city, bunch of seagulls right there. But it's time the residents actually demand that they stop spending money on stupid crap and fix these darn bridges and roads. We need to get the city out of private development, people. I mean, and now with the highway construction project, it's projected to last 2 or 3 more years, but the contractor, Coco Singh, or however it's pronounced, they're way ahead of schedule, and there's a bonus in their contract where if they get done in 2016, where they'll get a bonus for finishing the job early, which they're moving pretty fast, so that they should be able to get that. But it's projected to be completed in 2017, but they'll get it done by 2016, unless there's a lot of major flood, in which the winter months are going to be interesting to see how well things actually, how much the river rises once we get some snow, and then unthaw, and that type of stuff. But yeah, there's no excuse for them to be stealing money from us here. You could even see where the rebar right here, more extensive shots of how it's falling apart and decaying to ruins right here. So City of Dayton residents, you know, we deserve better. We deserve to have quality roads and bridges to drive on. You could even see this right here on the other side of the bridge. This is falling apart too, this concrete right here. So it's time that we demand that they spend the money where it was meant to be spent at. You know, we should have quality roads and bridges, you know, to drive on, instead of, you know, risking our lives every time we, you know, get on these, you know, roads. But here's another view of the bridge right here. I covered this bridge about 6 months ago pretty extensively. Across the street, right Dunbar Gateway. That's the first neighborhood that's out of downtown Dayton to the west. This bridge goes right into the heart of West Dayton, right dead central, because 3rd Street, it goes right into the heart of both the east and the west side. But yeah, so it's time that we actually demand that they actually get out of what should be, you know, private development, and demand that they fix these roads or bridges. Right there's a sign for the right Dunbar Gateway. They've recently redone this bridge several years ago on Edwin C. Moses. And I'm going to show a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to end this one. Yeah, so Miller Valentine Gem, you want to steal $5 million from the taxpayer to fund this, to fund the stupid fairgrounds. You're going to build stuff that's not needed, stuff that's not going to actually create real jobs. And this bridge, if the city leaders were cared and were watching the situation, they could have replaced this back long before the highway project. This bridge should have been replaced before the highway project, but now it's probably going to have to wait 3 to 5 years unless it just falls into the river, which hopefully it doesn't happen. But of course, the city of Dayton doesn't care if that happens. They don't care if your safety gets in danger by driving on these dangerous roads or bridges. And so yeah, that's, you know, this is the real Dayton, the real downtown. You know, they don't care about the citizens. You know, and now this, you know, license plate scam. There's further looking on both sides of 3rd. You know, on Sunday morning, this street, you can walk on it without too much problem, I think, in general. But so now, you know, they want to siphon more money out of the taxpayers with license plate fees. And let's see. And if they do get this license plate fee, I highly doubt they're going to be more proactive at fixing this stuff. And the reason why, Ohio Department of Transportation announced earlier this year that they were going to be having a record amount of projects this year. But I've been all over the city and all over the region. I don't see hardly any road projects being done. I've only seen maybe 4 or 5 roads across the entire area being repaved. Dixie, North Dixie, parts of East 3rd, South Main, Colonel Glenn Highway, and there's probably 1 or 2 others that I'm not naming right now. So it's time that we stop this theft. Tell them, you know, we've had enough to pay. We've had enough of paying, you know, for, as I've mentioned this, you know, before, for all the money they spent on downtown, which is right here. This bridge is right on the edge of it. For all the money they wasted on downtown Dayton, you know, taxpayer waste and other things, we could have fixed our roads and bridges, and we could have tore down a lot of abandoned houses, revitalized these neighborhoods. But we need to get the city out of private development. That's the RTA, Dayton Cultural Transit Center, right over there. But yeah. So, but anyway, so you see, look at the decay once again. So, but anyway, YouTube, That's it for this one. And tell the city leaders and your local councilmen we don't want to pay anymore. We don't need to pay anymore. And demand that they stop stealing money from the taxpayer with stupid grants to fund what should be private development. And this is the Wright Dunbar neighborhood. This is one of my more recent neighborhood videos. It's a pretty nice neighborhood. It's the first neighborhood out of downtown Dayton it's the first neighborhood that's southwest, because you're looking on both sides of 3rd right now, and this side is south, that other side is north. So yeah, that's the first neighborhood going out. It's a pretty nice neighborhood. That's where the Wright brothers and Paul Lawrence Dunbars lived, and where they have various artifacts, that type of stuff. But anyway, that's it for this one.